Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangs, and if you've been around the Advanced Wars competitive scene for any amount of time, you will know about the legendary player known as Grimm Guy, the guy who wins Advanced Wars matches exclusively using Grimm, one of the worst COs in the game. He not only wins, but he beats some of the best players on the site when they're using Tier 1 and Tier 2 COs. This has kind of made him into a bit of a legendary character. And for the longest time, he seemed to be like the only Grimm alt who can really rise this high, and not anyone has really been able to touch him. But, ladies and gentlemen, not so long ago, we saw the arrival of a new player on the scene. Let me introduce Grimm Girl. You can see that she created her account very recently, so she has not been around for a long time, but already she's been able to rise to 1300 MMR. This is kind of the level where I think you start to stand out. I think most people can smurf their way up to 1200, but once you reach 1300 as like a gimmick account, that's when like people will start to take notice of you. And I actually matched with Grimm Girl on the Global League. Now, when I matched with her, I had no idea if this was like anyone good. She wasn't that highly rated. So this was actually a tier 2 match. I could have picked Max. I probably would have done that if it was Grimm Guy. But at the moment, I wasn't really sure what to think of this alt account. So I just picked Jess. Because, you know, I like playing Jess. And, you know, I was curious to see if this was someone good or if it was just a bad copycat. So, interesting matchup right here. It's not one that you see a lot. Jess should have the advantage in theory. Because, again, movement COs is what Grimm really doesn't like. One of the things about Grimm, and I've said this before, but it bears repeating, the reason why Grimm is very seldom picked in Tier 4 is because Tier 4 is full of movement COs. You got Jake, you got Adder, you got Cole, you got Jess. Like, all these COs increase their movement in some way or another. And Grimm really doesn't like that. In fact, Grimm matches better against Tier 3 COs than he does against Tier 4 COs. Because he really likes fighting against Lash, he's not too bad against Kindle. Drake kinda wrecks him a little bit with the Tsunami, but it's not impossible for him. So Grimm is in a very weird spot where he's actually weaker in his tier. But as Grimm Guy has demonstrated, Grimm can take fights against much stronger COs just because he has just some of the most insane firepower of all the COs in Advanced Wars. But, ladies and gentlemen, the question is right now, is Grimm Girl any good? Let us find out. Let us jump into this match. So, we are playing on a map that I forgot the name of because I'm a pro commentator. But this is both a high funds and a standard map, so it's been around for a very long time. Is it Cycles of Gan? I actually forgot. Someone pointed out in the comment section. So this is a standard match though, not high funds. If it was high funds, I don't actually know if Grimm is better or worse in high funds. That's actually something that I haven't thought a lot about. I would like to think that maybe Grimm is better in high funds. Maybe a true boss can answer this or something. I'm not actually sure. But this is a standard match. But this map is played both in standard and high funds. You got these neutral bases that both players has to capture. You got this little island here with a comm tower and 2 properties, which incentivizes both players to build transports, which I really like. At that point, when you have 3 properties and like 2 properties and a comm tower, it starts to become very worthwhile to get that early transport out. So, and that means that you can play around with transport copter, which I really like. So, I like maps that forces T-copters early on. So, currently both players just going about their capture phases right now. Nothing like extraordinary out of Grimm Girl right here. But of course, we're going to see a lot of tanks in this matchup because I am playing Jess, and I'd like to keep it that way. You know, if I could just spam tanks against Grimm Girl, then I should be in a pretty good spot. You know, Jess tanks will absolutely evaporate Grimm tanks. So, I am referring to Grimm Girl as she. It's probably a dude, but you know, just it's just because the username is Grimm Girl, I'm gonna say her. Now, I did message Grimm Girl, and I was like, I know who you are. I was kind of hoping she'd give me some hints, but she was like, no, I won't tell you. And I was like, you're Grimm Guy's husband. But she said that she's looking to become Grimm Guy's husband, so maybe... I'm just wondering when we're gonna see Grimm Girl versus Grimm Guy. That would be pretty funny. So here, I'm attacking, because again, I'm up against Grimm. Yes, just infantry are weaker, but with 20% less defense, it's very tempting to go for the capture. Grimm Girl shoots back and moves a tank into the center. Another tank out of Grimm Girl, so we're seeing a lot of tank spamming. And an artillery. Indirect's very strong for Grimm. If he can wall them properly, his artillery deals so much damage. Also, Advanced Warfare Spy Web, when are we going to get alternate CO skins? Seriously, that would be really cool. Imagine if we could get like a female Grimm, like gender-bent COs. That'd be pretty cool. So day 7 rolls in here. Most of us are just bruising tanks. I got 2 tanks on my strong side, 1 tank on my weak side. So Grimm Girl is really going aggressive here, killing my infantry. So she's already up 1 infantry, which is actually pretty impressive. So at this point, I knew that I wasn't up against just some scrub. This is definitely a player who knows how to play. If you can reach 1300 MMR as Grimm, chances are you're probably like a 1400 MMR level player, I'd say. So anyway, I have now finished capturing the airport. I go for the T-copter. I probably should have moved one of my infantry in range of the T-copter so I could have gotten both the island as well as the city. But I didn't quite think ahead that much. I will be honest, I didn't spend a lot of time thinking of my moves in this particular match, and I'm still very rusty at the moment, so, you know, if you see any blatant misplays, I do apologize. But here, I just moved my tanks into position. Grimm Girl has 2 tanks, I have 2 tanks, so currently it's a little bit of a stalemate. I'm also sort of ahead in income right now, but let's see what happens once Grimm Girl captures all the properties. There we go, now Grimm Girl is ahead of me, so. Goes for the city over here, and moves the artillery. And I like the artillery placement, makes it impossible for me to really move my tank forward. Because of these 2 forest tiles, I can't really go on a strike. And Grimm Girl is now shifting a lot of her tanks to my weak side, which is definitely a good move. And because of all these forest tiles here, I can't really strike, and she's also placing infantry in front of her tanks, so it's pretty nice. Also builds a transport, because of course you have to build a transport on this map. I guess you can kind of get away with it if your opponent is not building a transport, but I don't think it's ever not worth it, because again, 2 comm towers, you definitely want to grab both of those. So here, I don't really know why I'm playing this so defensively. I probably could have moved this tank. So here, this is a passive move. I'm not a big fan of this move right here. Looking back at it, like, it doesn't serve any purpose to put this tank on the city. I should have just moved it forward. So at the very least, I'm able to apply some pressure here. So yeah, so I'm playing very passively here. I think I'm a little bit too scared of Grimm, honestly. Because, you know, what I'm doing now is I'm essentially throwing away these 2 infantry right here. So these 2 infantry will just be eaten up, and then Grimm Girl will have a huge presence in the center. And you always want to be in the center. In Advanced Wars, flanking your opponent is not necessarily a good move. Being in the center is actually advantageous to you, because then you can attack one of the sides of your opponent and outnumber them, so definitely a little bit of a sloppy play from me. Grimm Girl, yeah, you see now just, I'm serving up 2 free infantry on the platter right now, which is pretty huge. And now Grimm Girl is threatening 1, 2, 3 properties and my HQ. So suddenly, a little bit of a tactical mistake has given Grimm Girl a big advantage. So looking at this, yeah, that was a bad move by me. But also like just a good move by Grimm Girl, like focusing, like really solid positioning. So here, I'm deciding to just take the artillery shot. I got 3 tanks, and my power will be up pretty quick once we start taking tank engagements. So I'm getting ready here. I'm moving 4 tanks in. Of course, Grimm Girl can strike me here, but I'm hoping that whatever counterattack I have here will be able to ward her away. So day 10 rolls in. Grimm Girl starts capturing her comm tower, and I'm not really sure what I'm doing here, honestly. What was I doing in this map? Why is my infantry here? Why did I do this? What? What was I smoking? What? I guess because I felt I was confident because I had to... My goodness, this is... Sorry, guys, I'm very rusty. I returned from Advanced Wars after like 1.5 months of hiatus. So I feel like I need to learn the basics again. Yeah, this is just a plain old Aegis-style Manx infantry right here. This infantry serves no purpose. It's just free food. So I've given away like 3... I've donated 4 infantry to Grimm Girl at the moment. Battlecopters, of course, coming out. Grimm is such a good battlecopter CO. Like, his battlecopters do so much damage. And here, Grimm Girl is actually threatening my HQ in a very big way right now. Placing the tanks. Look at this little blob of units right here. Very hard for me to attack into this. Day 11 rolls in. And I'm kind of stuck in a very awkward position here where I don't really want to attack on the shoals. But at the same time, how am I really supposed to attack into this? So I get a little impatient here and I start attacking. I just start, like, I figure if I can clear away enough infantry, it's going to be harder for Grimm Girl to wall, but I don't want to commit to any big attack at the moment. So day 11 rolls in, Grimm Girl now has her comm tower, so that's a passive 50% firepower increase, very scary. That's like come by, like, moral boosts firepower level, it's really scary. So Grimm Girl fires back at the infantry, takes a shot at my tank, and moves the artillery back. And very cleverly walls with her infantry. And again, similar to Grimm Guy, Grimm Girl is being very cautious, not overextending. I mean, this is like the #1 rule I see with most Grimm players is don't overextend. So here, I decide that I'm tired of playing passively. So I go in, I take 2 big shots, and I pop my turbocharge. And this does allow me to get the artillery, but there are 2 tanks in range of me, which is not great. And this tank won't really get to do anything, because it's not in range of anything. I do get to interrupt this capture, which is nice, and I get a nice little first strike on Grimm Girl's tank right here. But generally speaking, I probably needed to hit at least 2 more tanks with this attack for it to be effective. So it may look like a strong push from me right now, but keep in mind, look at the power meter. Look at the power meter. Battlecopter goes down, sacks a 2 HP tank, and ladies and gentlemen, the very rarely activated Haymaker. 90% firepower increase with 2 comm towers, 110%. That's as much firepower as Grimm Girl is getting right now. Let me actually double check those numbers before I... So if we bring up Grimm's dossier, yeah, Haymaker with the boost is 90%. With comm towers, 110% firepower. I don't think there's any other CO in the game that gets firepower this big, not even max. Maybe like Colin with Power of Money. But yeah, look at this. 1 shot. Battlecopter, 1 shot. Tank, 1 shot. Other tank, 8 HP of damage. Ow! Oh, this hurts to watch. Oh my goodness. What a shellacking. What a shellacking. And yet, doesn't overextend with her other forces. Playing very similar to the Grimm Guy. At this point, I'm kind of pissed. I'm just kind of hitting back to do damage. But I realize that I'm in trouble here. Like, there's too many battlecopters here. I need more anti-air, really. So I build 2 anti-air this turn. At this point, I wouldn't say it's lost yet. We're still equal in income and unit count. So it's not like it's completely lost yet. But with these 2 battlecopters are going to be able to wreak so much havoc on me. And the fact that I just kind of gave away 4 infantry in the early game was not a good look for me. And Grimm Girl continues to pick up a lot of valuable kills here. My unit count really suffers this turn. Look at this. I'm down to 17. Luckily, Grimm Girl doesn't have any healthy infantry to capture my properties, so it's not like she can really benefit that much. But she's still kind of decimating my unit count, which means that I just don't have that many units to play around with. Using the transport copter very cleverly to shield her infantry. And here, yeah, I move my anti-air up. At this point, I'm kind of desperate. At least I found this little cute move with the T-copter to block this tank from striking my tank, which is nice. It is nice that Grimm will never have any movement increases. But that means that you have to try and take out as many of his tanks as possible before he can retaliate. And right now, I'm not really doing a good job of that. So yeah, those battlecopters are just wrecking havoc. Like, those battlecopters have killed like 2 tanks each. So, statistically, this is just not a numbers game I'm going to win. It doesn't matter if I have movement. Grimm Girl is just kind of drawing me in and brawling with me. And her firepower is greater than my firepower, even though I'm Jess. And I'm not really utilizing the first strike movement. So, day 15, I pop a Desperation Turbocharge just to see if I can get back into the game. I know it's hopeless, but I want to try. I rolled in with my tanks. I at least get a battlecopter, and I have a battlecopter of my own. But overall, it's not really going the way I want it to. I built a Neo tank because I actually have some money pulled up right now. Used the T-copter to block Grimm Girl from capturing my base. But here comes the Knuckle Duster, and this one's gonna hurt. Boom, bye-bye goes the transport. Anti-air goes bye-bye. Battlecopter, my anti-air is being blasted. And yeah, this is kind of painful. Grimm Girl is smacking me around like a little kid right now. And after this turn, ladies and gentlemen, after seeing the Neo tank come out, I throw in the towel. So yeah, that was a very quick and brutal match against Grimm Girl. What do you guys think about Grimm Girl? Do you think she's gonna eventually rise to challenge Grimm Guy? Who do you think it is? Must be a 1400 plus player for sure, like maybe 1300, but they're playing really well. So hopefully you enjoyed this silly little video. Sorry I'm so rusty, guys. Like I'm really gonna try and get better. Like not playing Advanced War for a month, it feels like you have to kind of relearn the basics. Like I'm just not able to focus as much as I used to. But I'm playing Live League every day, and I'm slowly getting back to my old level. Hopefully I'll meet Grimm Girl again, and I'll get my rematch. Maybe I'll pick an actual tier 2 CO next time. But yeah, let me know what you think about Grimm Girl in the comments section. Do you think she can take Grimm Guy? Maybe. We'll see. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. My name is Mangs. Leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.